creating wealth, freedom, and security using real estate investing. This is Get Real Wealthy. All right, you're watching Get Real Wealthy. On this episode, we're talking about increasing profits on a particular property. If you want to learn more about increasing profits, take a look at the Property Management Toolbox book, available on Amazon. It's actually one of my best-selling books, and it has been for a very long time. So take a look at that. All right, here we go. Increasing profit on a particular property. So what we want to do is increase or get a higher net operating income and therefore increase the value of a property. So you want to maximize the value. And this depends on the provincial laws as well as the municipal laws and where you are in the real estate cycle. Sometimes we have bad policies that are being implemented, and in the end we're stuck. So we need to make the best of what we can do. Let's say you're in a position where you need to actually increase the profit on a particular deal, or the deal doesn't make sense anymore. Number one, you can sell the property, or you can renovate the property and then sell the property. All right, that's an easy way out. Oftentimes, inexperienced investors, that's their solution. I never suggest that as a solution. Never make a tenant make you sell a property. That is giving somebody else control over you, and I never like to think of myself as being controlled by anyone. Number two, increase the density of the asset. Whenever you evaluate a property, you want to bring it to its highest and best use. And for example, a single family home, oftentimes you can add a basement suite into the property, or you can add a suite onto the back of a property. In a lot of places now in Toronto and in Clarington and other regions around the country, you can actually add a garden suite into the property. So you can have the primary residence, or let's say the first unit, you can have a basement suite, and then you can add a garden suite onto the back, which is depends on the municipality and what the terms are. Barrie does it. Lots of municipalities allow garden suites, and it's part of the Places to Grow Act, where they, in Ontario, they want to see higher density of existing housing. What often happens is you have those NIMBYs and bananas again. They don't want rental housing. They don't want to make rents more affordable. What they want is their street to stay the same. Okay, so what you want to do is, when you are looking at increasing the income that comes from the property, how can you increase it by adding new units? That's a really big way of doing it. The other, let's say number three, is let's say you have a single family home, or you have a duplex and you want to use the rent-to-own strategy. So the rent-to-own strategy, I consider an exit strategy. It's a way for you to collect some money up front, which is often an option payment. The person can option to purchase the property at a set price within a given time period. They pay an additional option amount each month that goes towards their payment or their the deposit for the property. And then, in 3 years they can buy, or in 1 year they could buy the property at a set price. That can boost up your income every month, and sometimes it can actually take a negative cash flow property into the positive territory. Okay, so that's a strategy to be able to do that. Number four, you can take a property and you can do a short-term rental either within one of the units or within multiple units within a rental property. So what we're seeing right now is an opportunity where people are frustrated with the landlord-tenant board, and instead of renting out their units long-term, they're doing short-term rentals. And that allows them to rent the unit out for 2 days, 3 days, or maybe a week to a particular person, and they end up with a little bit more income than they would if they were in a long-term rental. But it is very much more time intensive. It's like running an additional business, and it can really take a lot of time, especially if you don't have process and systems in place. There are actually people now that are doing Airbnb arbitrage, where they're they're actually renting the unit from a long-term landlord at perhaps a little higher rate, and then they're renting it on Airbnb. It's a good way for them to create a little bit of additional cash flow, but they don't get the benefit of the long-term appreciation or mortgage pay down or any of that. So, but it could be a strategy for you if you want to use Airbnb, but you don't actually want to do the business part. You need to do your investigation on the liabilities of that and some other pieces, but that's an idea for being able to increase some income. All right, number 5, and this is kind of an out-of-the-box strategy. Look at the neighboring properties and see if you can actually acquire the neighboring properties and rezone those properties into something different that you can build on. You can actually create, in some places you can take 2 or 3 single family homes, put them together and create an envelope that you could build 20 units on. And a developer can come in and buy that. You don't even have to do the development part. All you have to do is the land assembly part. So there is some opportunity to be able to do that, to increase the profit on a particular property. Sometimes what you can do is you can take these 5 strategies and combine them. You can go and do a rent to own on a particular property with the ability to sell it at a later date, which is part of your number 1. You can do adding a duplex and a garden suite, or maybe duplexing a property while you're doing a land assembly. So there's different ways that you can go about doing this in order to continue to profit or increase profit on a particular property. That's just 5 ways. If you want to learn more ways, check out the book, and we'll see you on the next episode of Get Real Wealthy. Check me out at quentindesouza.com or educationrei.ca or durhamrei.ca. All right, have a great one, everyone. See you on the next episode.
Make sure to check out getrealwealthy.com. Until next time, I'm Quentin D'Souza. Get out there and take action. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are provided for information purposes only and should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell any securities or to make or consider any investment or course of action.
For more information, go to getrealwealthy.com.